So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Eileen Boekestein. I am the Environmental Education Manager at the Department of Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy, and I am thrilled to be here this afternoon, rounding out the climate conference with you as we celebrate the ways that young people in our state are leading the way in climate action. During the conference, we've talked about so many ways that we can work together to accelerate climate solutions in every community and make sure that no one is left behind. But I believe that if we're truly serious about building a healthy climate future, then our climate action community needs to move schools and the young people who fill them much closer to the center of this work. Our youngest Michiganders will live their entire lives in a climate-impacted world. They'll face challenges that previous generations never had to imagine. And while they prepare for that reality every day, many of us, our agencies, our institutions, our communities, are still not doing enough to protect them or to equip them with the skills and the opportunities they deserve to help them face those challenges. The schools where our young people spend their days are some of our truest public spaces. They're community anchors. They're places where families gather, where ideas spark, and where the intersections of climate, technology, health, and equity become real and tangible. They're also places where students can explore emerging technologies and discover career pathways of every kind, from skilled trades to science, from policies to the arts, all of which have a role to play in shaping a more resilient, just, and sustainable Michigan. In my role, I have had the privilege of working with youth from every corner of the state, and I'm consistently blown away by their insight, their urgency, and their creativity. Young people are not just the leaders of the future. They're leaders today. They're organizing, innovating, researching, speaking up, and pushing all of us to do better. Governor Inslee set us up really well for this session this morning as he told the story of the 14-year-old young woman in Washington who is researching air quality in her community. This is an incredible story, but it's really not as unique as you think. There are young people doing this kind of work all across the state and all across the country and all across the world. So today, I am honored to introduce 4 young people who I've gotten to know over the last couple of years, young people who are already changing the conversation and changing their communities. Their work is powerful, it's practical, and it's a glimpse of the Michigan we can build if we truly listen to and invest in our youth. So, with that, I am thrilled to introduce to you our 4 lightning speakers. Saiabhiram Akkaraju, a junior from Novi High School, Harrison Batten and Maya Beauregard, both sophomores from Haslett High School, and Mahdi Nasrala, a junior from Dearborn High School. Let's welcome them.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's an honor today to be in a room where so much of Michigan's future is being mapped out. For those of you I haven't had the chance to yet meet, my name is Saiabhiram Akkaraju, and I'm a junior at Novi High School. I'm also the co-founder of a student climate coalition called MILES, in partnership with EGLE and the Michigan Climate Action Network. MILES stands for the Michigan Youth Leaders for Environmental Stewardship, but for such a complex name, our goals are actually pretty simple. As a coalition, we work to solve environmental concerns of our member groups across the state. As a youth organization, we strive to do what so many others do: provide a space for youth to get involved with the policies and the issues that they truly care about. In MILES, we operate like mycelium. If you've ever spent time in Michigan's woods, mycelium is just a fungal network that helps to connect trees together to share nutrients and communicate. And that's exactly how I like to think of youth organizers. We're that connective tissue. We help to connect the high-level goals of state changemakers and state policymakers to school boards, local businesses, the kinds of places where people change their behaviors individually. So how exactly can youth like myself advance the MI Healthy Climate Plan? First, think of Pillar 6. Pillar 6 of the plan focuses on protecting 30% of Michigan's land and water by 2030. While adults can debate conservation policy, MILES has been expanding these goals through developing and sharing project toolkits all throughout the state. By creating a toolkit with over 13 plus project templates for things like how to create school gardens, we've already implemented these kinds of initiatives in all corners of our state, showing that youth aren't just learning about these concepts in theories, but we're making the solutions that actually can change these issues today. Or take a look at Pillar 2 and the work that's already being done with the Michigan Green Schools program. When youth are involved in situations like auditing their school buildings, they aren't just learning. They're helping to find the inefficiencies that cost our taxpayers money and lower emissions today. They're identifying the kinds of problems that we need to solve, and these situations show how youth can take real problems and make impact that actually helps our planet. The only thing we need is opportunities. But how exactly do we scale these kinds of opportunities to youth all across Michigan? I believe the key to capturing youth is early engagement. I truly believe there isn't a single child who doesn't want a better future for our planet. There's only those who don't know the impact of their actions. We should strive to make every child connected to the environment from an early age. Miles has already started by advocating for legislation to create a dedicated environmental task force to implement these kinds of experiences and curriculum in schools. You can too, by exposing the youth in your life to all the amazing opportunities they have within this space. And Miles too, of course. Think about it. This is one of the only unique communities where I, as a 17-year-old, can talk to you all with decades of experience and still have my voice matter. Take advantage of that. If we want this plan to survive and thrive for the next 24 years, we need to embed youth opportunity and organizing at the heart of it. We need to create pathways so a teenager in the UP or a student in Detroit can look at the actions they take today and see a path to a greener future tomorrow. Talk to the youth in your lives. Get them engaged in solving the problems that affect all of us and working with the communities that actually value them. The Am I Healthy Climate Plan is a gift to my generation. But think of my perspective today as an invitation to stop seeing youth as a group to be consulted or just to be thought of, and start seeing us as a resource and a network to help you amplify your goals. By working with youth organizations, we can advance the action of these programs together from the ground up. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Harrison Batten, and I'm a junior at Haslett High School. I'm very grateful to be here, and like Saiabhiram, I'm a member of Miles. Only 4 years ago did I first get involved in the health of the world around me, and only 6 months ago did I have my first speech that was anything like this. And so much has happened in that time. So many things that push me to do more. And what exactly has kept me passionate and interested for the past few years? The people, like each of you. The people are what drive me. They show me why I do the work that I do, why it matters. Whether it be getting to see kids learn about the world for the first time, or having a passionate teacher who truly believes in the environment, or seeing how the climate impacts those around me, I am inspired to keep doing the work to make it a sustainable and healthy place. I've been lucky enough to get inspiration from multiple different angles. I've gotten to provide my opinion on township decisions as an environmental commissioner. I have been able to influence the future planning of my school as a founding member of my district sustainability team, and I get to help elementary students learn about the earth through a club that I co-lead with other high schoolers. I, however, have done none of this alone. I've always had someone, like my good friend Maya, who you will hear from soon, that can act as a sounding board, cheerleader, and fellow advocate for the earth. As a team with other students from Haslett, our dedicated teacher, Bridget Booth, we have been able to make real change and champion issues that we have seen avoided, like climate education in the classroom. We have led professional development sessions teaching staff about the climate, spoke at the state capitol about similar issues, made a group called SEAL, Student Environmental Activism Leadership, to extend our reach, and I am very proud to say have gotten Green School certification for all the buildings in our district, showing the public just how much we can do. And I have no plan to stop. No matter how busy I am or how daunting it all seems, I am still emboldened to do the work because not enough people are. And yes, it is tiring, but it is also the most fulfilling work I have ever done. I've gotten more satisfaction out of this kind of work than any other class or extracurricular that I have taken. The journey that has taken me here has been unexpected, but I have loved every second of it. I am beyond grateful to have had all of these opportunities, and I can't wait to see what the future holds. Find what inspires you and find your people so you can have the same unexpectedly amazing journey as I have. Thank you all.
Hello, everyone. I am Beauregard, and similar to Harrison, a co-president of the group SEAL we started back in our freshman year. My freshman year, I was bright-eyed, in a new space, eager to join every possible activity. So I went down the list and joined every single club that remotely related to helping others and change-making. However, when I entered those spaces, I was immediately hit with a wall of disinterest. In those areas, ideas were being shared, good ideas by amazing people, but there was no driving force, no movement, no passion. I felt simply like a worker rather than an equal contributor in these spaces. However, after a few months, I got an email from my amazing 8th grade science teacher, Miss Booth, who Harrison spoke of earlier, reaching out to me and Harrison to form a student-led group that would later become SEAL. So we agreed, and on that first meeting, we just started talking, and the conversations were flowing, and there was ideas and emotion, but there was something else I hadn't experienced in any other space previous, a palpable energy, the drive I had been missing, and so I followed it. Ever since, I've dove headfirst into this work, chasing that energy wherever it takes me. As Harrison mentioned, it's led us to amazing spaces, but my favorite part is still that energy. That feeling after a dragging day where you're going through the motions, but you enter this space of like-minded people, and it truly refuels you. These people I've met and the confidence I've gained from it have led me into leadership spaces outside environmental ones and inside them. I've now sat in rooms of 50-plus teachers and administrators in district-wide strategic planning meetings when our new superintendent joined last year. I was the only student, and I was making sure that sustainability was a priority in our 5-year plan. I've hosted panels helping adults to learn how to work with kids in educational spaces, showing them how to tackle environmental issues in an effective, engaging way without overwhelming the students they're trying to get into these spaces, while making both parties feel more comfortable with mistakes and how a learning environment should encourage self-advocacy rather than diminish it. I genuinely wouldn't have been able to get here without Ms. Booth initially reaching out and showing me the spaces I was missing. I had the potential to lead, but someone more experienced needed to help me take that first step, which in my opinion will always be the hardest. I now strive to be that helping hand to other new students who have the passion without the direction like I did. The future of any movement, as you know, is the youngest members, and the more I work with them, the more I realize how driven and powerful they truly are. There are so many people around me who want to work, but don't have the opportunities to do it and want to push for better changes, but feel like they're too young. So as I look out at this amazing audience of people, I acknowledge and appreciate all the time and work you've put into the change. I'm excited to build on all this work you've done and help the next generation of activists behind me. Thank you all.
Sure. Well, hello, everyone. I am your last speaker today, so bear with me for a moment while my name is Nasrala, and I serve as the executive director of AM Youth. And there we go. Okay. When I look at this slide behind me, I don't just see images. I see Michigan, a state that has always built what the rest of the world depends on. From the assembly lines that defined an industry to the clean energy systems now redefining our future. I see innovation, I see progress, but most importantly, I see people. Because at the center of every one of these images is a decision to move forward. And over the past few years, I have been fortunate enough to be a part of that movement. Through AM Youth, I've worked alongside members of Congress, state legislators, and government agencies to build something that did not exist before, a real framework for youth to be involved in decisions shaping our future. We created congressional youth advisory councils, not to give students a voice for show, but to give them a seat where decisions are actually made. I've worked with legislators to push youth-centered policy and made it a priority that anyone running for office, state or federal, has a real plan to include young people in how they lead. Because if you're making decisions about the future, you should include the people who are going to live in it. And that belief is beginning to be recognized across the entire state. We are currently in Youth Recognition Month, something that did not happen overnight. It took time, it took persistence, but I am proud to have worked to create, alongside legislators, to create and move the House resolution forward, earning support from 29 sponsors and gaining bipartisan backing, because recognizing young people isn't just symbolic, it's foundational. That same belief is what led me to work with Highland Electric Fleets, not just as a partner, but as a youth voice, advocating for electric school buses across Michigan, making sure students are not just riding in these systems, but helping shape them. Because for most students, a school bus isn't just transportation, it's a part of their everyday lives. It's the first place they go in the morning, the last place they're in before they get home. And for too long, it's also been a place where they're exposed to harmful diesel emissions. So when we are talking about electric school buses, we're not just talking about technology, we're talking about health. We're talking about the air students breathe every single day. We're talking about quieter rides, cleaner communities, and a system that actually puts students first. And what's powerful is that this isn't just happening in one place. It's happening across communities. In Dearborn, in Redford, in Jackson, in Lansing, communities are proving something very simple, that clean energy is not just a concept, it's action, and it's happening right now. And yes, this work is now being recognized on a global stage. At the 2028 Olympics, Highland Electric will help deploy electric buses to move people from across the world. But what matters the most to me isn't just where these buses are going, it's where they started. Because Olympic gold medals aren't handed out to those who wait. It's earned on roads that no one sees. And right now, students across Michigan are building those very roads with every electric bus, with every policy, and with every decision to act. That is what this moment is. And that is what Michigan represents. Because this state has never been defined by what's easy. It's been defined by what's possible. And that brings me to what matters the most, young people. We hear it all the time. You're the future. One day you'll lead. Eventually, it'll be your turn. But here's the truth. We are not waiting for our turn. We are already doing the work. We are not the next generation of leaders. We are the generation stepping up into leadership right now. Not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Because while others debate timeline, we are living the consequences. So the question isn't whether young people are ready. The question is whether the systems are ready to catch up. Because the biggest risk we face today isn't innovation, it isn't cost, it isn't technology, it's hesitation. And we don't have time for hesitation. So what we're seeing across the state, from classrooms to communities to global stages, is something bigger than a moment. It's momentum. So let me leave you with this. The future is not something that we inherit. It's something we take responsibility for. And right now, young people across this entire state are doing exactly that. Not asking, not waiting, acting. So the question isn't whether we're ready. The question is, who's bold enough to move with us? Because we're not following a path, we're building it. And that path starts here in Michigan. Thank you all.